Happy New Year and welcome to the first sports scene of 2020, a year that promises so much sporting action across the continent and the globe, with the biggest spectacle of the year, undoubtedly, the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Tonight, we profile some of the best sporting talent in Africa that is preparing to make their dreams come true in Japan, and we also look ahead to the forthcoming CAF Awards in Egypt. Hello and welcome to your weekly sports program that brings you all the sporting news and reviews from an African perspective. We will highlight the thrill of victory while also showing you the agony of defeat. I'm Richard Nta in Nairobi. This is Sports Scene. Let's get real, let's get live, let's get at it. Here's what's coming up in the show. Men's 3,000 meter steeplechase Olympic gold medalist Conseslus Kipruto looks ahead on defending his title. And we take a look at the upcoming CAF Awards, where Salah, Mane, and Mahrez are in the gunning for the top prize. Once again, welcome to Sports Scene. We begin in South Africa, where after winning the Rainbow Nation's first medal in 18 years at the 2019 World Karate Championships, Daniela van Wyk is eyeing the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. The 19-year-old brought home bronze on her global tournament debut in Chile. Now, CGTN's Julie Shire brings us her story. Let's take a look.
Meet Danielle van Wyk. The teen karateka was just a year old when South Africa last won a World Karate Championship medal. At her debut in Chile, she scooped bronze, breaking the 18-year drought and achieving her career's best.
I've always wanted to win a medal at that level event, and I think since a young age, knowing that there is something like the World Championship, I've always been working towards a medal at that level. And so when it actually happened, it was kind of just like ticking off one of the boxes on my dream board.
The two-time style junior world champion turned senior 6 months ago. She now has every intention of fighting her way to the top.
I think since I was young, I've always wanted to be successful, and I've always wanted to be remembered for something. My passion and my drive doesn't only come from my parents, but also just the fear of not achieving what I want to achieve. There's a lot that I still want to do and a lot that I still want to achieve, and I think for me less than that's not an option.
It's Danielle's mind. She has an exceptional mind for processing strategy. The way that she processes information is very different, and this is really where I come into my own. I'm one for refinement. I enjoy it when other people lay the foundation and I'm able to come in and make good great.
For Daniela van Wyk, her latest success ignited a spark for bigger and better results. The teenage dynamo now has her sights set on qualifying for 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Julie Shire, CGTN, Johannesburg, South Africa.
Well, athletics has always been one of the most popular sports at any Olympic Games. Kenyan Rio 2016 men 3,000 meter steeplechase gold medalist Conseslus Kipruto is one of many champions from Brazil looking to defend their titles in Japan. In an interview with CGTN's Mohamed Abubakar, Kipruto started by describing how it felt to hold on to his world title in Doha last year. Let's take a look.
When I was in World Championship, I was really focused. I knew it was the defending champion, and I wanted to defend it. I wanted to be double world champion. I got those things in my mind, and you know when you have morale, and then I have that morale like I'm a champion, I can do it. So I didn't give my mind like I was from injury. I actually forget about
exciting, reaching the final and being effective. Egypt will vote for Salah, but my feeling is it's going to be Mane's year.
They are teammates, but they're rivals too. With this complicated performance
out over who should take a penalty before. I think their fierce competitive nature will cause disturbances in the team.
No. They have been competitive like this for a couple of years now, and it never affected their performance and cooperation on the field. Yes, they are sometimes greedy in attack, but this is a good thing for a forward player. It's been a healthy competition and the Liverpool trophy speak for it. Liverpool is benefiting from their rivalry.
If Salah wins the African Player of the Year, he would be the first Egyptian to win it 3 times. That's Hakim for CGTN, Cairo.
Well, in Senegal, fans are optimistic that their star, Sadio Mane, will beat Mohamed Salah and Riyad Mahrez to the top prize. The Senegalese is tipped to be in a better position to win the top honor due to his achievements in the previous year. Mane, of course, was a finalist in last year's Africa Cup of Nations. He is also a Champions League winner and one of the 3 Premier League top scorers last season. Pundits and fans alike voiced their opinions on who they think is better placed amongst the 3.
Amongst the 3 finalists, Sadio Mane is best placed to win the trophy for the Best African Player 2019. It was simply phenomenal by winning the Champions League, the European Super Cup, and the Club World Cup. He was the top scorer in the English Premier League and a runner-up in the AFCON last year. As for Salah and Riyad Mahrez, I can say their chances are slim compared to the exceptional season of Sadio Mane.
If we refer to the charts of these 3 players for the year 2019, I think Sadio Mane deserves to be awarded the African Golden Ball. I would say that Sadio Mane would be ranked first, followed by Mohamed Salah and then Riyad Mahrez. In any case, it is the best ranking.
All right, South Africa's hopes for this year's CAF Awards on the 7th of January lie on female shoulders. The Rainbow Nation will be represented in 3 categories: the Women's National Team of the Year, Coach of the Year, and the Women's Player of the Year. CGTN's Duplessis has more.
The Banyana trio have enjoyed an incredible 12 months, with many firsts for South African women's football, including a first ever World Cup appearance. And their tireless work is starting to yield results in the country and in the process becoming a formidable force on the African continent.
When you look at the bigger picture on the continent, certainly South Africa is one of the ones that are the trendsetters in that. So the fact that they have again been nominated, that Fifi's there, that Tembi's there, and that Coach Desiree is there, it just shows where South Africa is, or South Africa's women are in terms of just their space on the continent.
The reigning CAF Women's Footballer of the Year says 2019 has been an unforgettable year and that her World Cup goal, South Africa's first ever, has been one of the highlights. But the challenge is to keep working and to keep improving for club and country.
I think for me now it's not about winning or losing. It's about being consistent and being the player that I am. Yes, I'm grateful to get 3 nominations in a row from CAF. It shows I'm in the right direction and that my hard work doesn't go unnoticed.
Jane and Khatlana are key figures in the national team and have been responsible for 29 goals and 164 appearances between them for Banyana. Therefore, it's no surprise that the pair have been signed by Italian giants AC Milan and one of China's top clubs, Beijing Phoenix, and look set to be the catalyst that sees many other players head overseas.
Rafil Johnny being at AC Milan, the first African to go into that territory, is really huge. She's played most of the games, scored for them. And the same with Tembi. She scored, I think, 6 goals this season. The team's doing very well. So this bodes well for the future of women's football in South Africa, to have as many players as possible playing overseas.
The nominations speak volumes for how far women's football has come in a short space of time. And now that players are attracting more and more interest from the top clubs in the world, means that there's an abundance of talent waiting to be discovered and that the future of the beautiful game in the Rainbow Nation appears extremely bright. CS Duplessis, CGTN, Johannesburg.
And now let's get more insight on the upcoming CAF Awards. We are now joined live from Cairo by Marwan Saeed, an African football expert. Marwan, thank you for joining us here on Sports Scene. Let's dig into it. Let's start with the top prize. Mohamed Salah has won the Player of the Year award back-to-back in the last 2 years. Senegal's Sadio Mane finished runners-up both times. Who stands a better chance between these two guys and why?
I think a lot of people will argue that Sadio Mane has had an exceptional year. All three have had successful years in their own standards. I believe Sadio Mane had a very good year, to be honest. Maybe if I say Salah deserves to win it, it might look a bit biased because I'm Egyptian. But if we look at it in from an analytical point of view, Salah, when he has he set the bar so high that he finishes as top scorer with 22 goals in the English Premier League, and people say he's not the same. This is how high he's gone up. He's always, for example, if he does something well, whether this season or the past season, he's always compared to two of the greatest football players in the game, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. It's not the same thing with Sadio Mane, no matter how good he has of a year or how good of a performance he has. When Sadio Mane has a good performance or has a good year, he's compared to Mohamed Salah. There's a big difference, and this is what I mean by analytically looking at it. When Sadio Mane had a very good year, he managed to win the same titles as Mohamed Salah, and he managed to finish the top scorer in the league on par with Mohamed Salah with 22 goals each. So yes, Sadio Mane did have a good year. Yes, Sadio Mane did reach the Africa Cup of Nations final, but this is the only difference between them. And if we're going to take it by looking at the Africa Cup of Nations, then obviously Riyad Mahrez had a better AFCON than those two guys. So in my opinion, it is very difficult for someone to say Sadio Mane deserves it more than Mohamed Salah, because Mohamed Salah does deserve to win it, but it's a very difficult situation because also someone needs to reward Sadio Mane. If they could split the award, it will be the fairest thing in my opinion, but I believe Mohamed Salah should be the winner of this award again.
All right, Marwan Saeed, you do make some very good points. Speaking of Riyad Mahrez, Algeria's captain Riyad Mahrez hasn't received enough hype in the build-up to these awards, despite leading his country to their second African title in 2019, and his club, of course, Manchester United, to a domestic treble. Now, does he stand a chance? Does he really stand a chance, in your opinion?
If Riyad Mahrez we're going to look at his season as well, he's had a very successful season on a group level, if we may say, more than a personal level. He's won the domestic treble with Manchester City, and he's guided his team to an AFCON title, as you said. But the thing is, if you look at his direct effect for winning all those titles, you'll see that his most contributions came with the national team at the AFCON. With Manchester City, he's in a situation very much different than the Liverpool duo, who have no players to compete against. They've made their spots their own, and they're always starting and starring for their team. But Mahrez, he has several players that he has to compete with, and it's not he's not the star of the team. We have players. Manchester City has players that have overcome him over the past seasons. They've made it difficult for him to break into the starting 11, whether it's Raheem Sterling, Leroy Sané, or Bernardo Silva. They're all ahead of him in the pecking order. He's just starting to play more this season because of the injury that Leroy Sané got. But still, his effect is not as big as the duo. He's not achieved the biggest trophy. He's not won the biggest trophy in club football like the Champions League or the World Cup. His effect is not the biggest on his team, and he's been a fringe player for a big part of his Manchester City career, and this is what has harmed him when it comes to winning personal accolades such as the best player on the continent. But no one can doubt Riyad Mahrez's quality. He's a top player, but unfortunately, maybe if it was a different time, he would have definitely won this title.
All right, Marwan, Saeed, let's leave it there. Thank you so much for your insights. Hope to speak to you again real soon. Moving on, he stands as the most successful volleyball player in the history of Egypt. The 35-year-old Ahmed Salah has scaled the heights in his country and beyond. CGTN's Adel Al-Maroui brings us the story of this Egyptian sporting legend who has won every trophy in Africa and even some in Europe.
In the club's world of African volleyball, Egyptians are the kings of the continent. Among these champions stands an alpha, a living legend. His name is Ahmed Salah. Since he was 6, volleyball has been his life. He grew up with Africa's record holders Al Ahly, but everywhere Salah went, the trophies followed.
My international experience was very successful. In my first year in Turkey, I won 2 competitions. It was a Europeans Cup, and in that competition I won Best Player, Best Server and Best Spiker. And we've also won Turkey's Cup. My second year was also good. It was experience that enriched my skills. My dream now is to end my career at home with Al Ahly. The club has found me and it has the right to get what remains in me for the sport.
When he came back to Egypt, he joined Talaa Al-Geish from 2014 to 2016. In these couple of years, both national titles deserted Al Ahly, Zamalek, and came to his team. Under his leadership, Talaa Al-Geish has won its first African title, the club's championship. 16 years serving the Egyptian national team, Salah has played in the Olympics, World Cup, and World League.
The only thing I haven't achieved is to win an international title for my country. And that's a very difficult mission. But who knows what the future carries.
Salah's talent attracted the attention of the world. He has won at least 27 personal awards in domestic, African, and world competition, including the best spiker in the 2011 World Cup. In 2017, the International Federation considered him one of the best players in the history of the game. This 35-year-old athlete is one of few people known who would get such a recognition while they're still active in sports.
I used to watch Ahmed Salah when I was still a cadet. He is one of the best players Egypt has ever seen. There is no doubt he is an exceptional player. His wrist is very fast and he has an amazing control over the ball. We rely on him greatly in the national team. His presence gives us a push and we see our opponents concerned whenever he is there. No player has such an effect. He is like Mohamed Salah in football.
For Egypt, Ahmed Salah is a humble living volleyball legend. Adel Al-Maroui, CGTN, Cairo.
All right, from England we head to Senegal, where rugby is a relatively young and little-known sport in the West African country, where football and wrestling are dominant sports. To meet this challenge, the Rugby Federation has decided to take charge of the fate of this team sport and are leading the charge with the under-14 national team. More details with Mahia Matua.
Dedication, hard work, and perseverance. All virtues on display here at Yoff Beach, north of Dakar, where these young and passionate boys and girls train daily between 4 and 6 p.m. They are here preparing as the national under-14 rugby team with an eye on the 2022 Olympic Games, something that is a major goal for the Senegalese Rugby Federation. For these aspiring rugby players, the sky is the limit.
I'm passionate about this sport. That's why I train every day. I play for the under-14 rugby team and we're preparing for the Olympic Games. That will mark my life.
I'm preparing for the Olympics. The training is very hard. We train at the beach and I appeal to all Senegalese to come support and help us.
I used to play in the national team, but today I want to contribute to the influence of rugby in Senegal by supervising these under-14 players for the 2022 Olympic Games.
This November, Senegal took part in the Africa Men's Sevens rugby tournament in Johannesburg, which doubled up as a qualifying event for the 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo. Despite finishing bottom of Pool B, which was eventually won by overall winners Kenya, Senegal still aims to attain the rugby pedigree to challenge in Africa. But there are challenges.
One of our major challenges is terrain. We have no ground to train or organize our championships properly. So, you see, we have to come to the beach to do our training. We have to reduce the budget that we had planned for the national championship for these children, who are the future of rugby.
Senegal now boasts a dozen first and second division rugby clubs with a total of 10,000 licensees, including 7 girls' clubs and small category schools. All signs that things are beginning to look up for the sport in the West African country. Mahe Mutwa, CGTN.
Well, that's it for this edition of Sports Scene. Remember, you can send us your feedback to the contacts on the screen and follow us on digital media platforms. Thank you for watching. We leave you with some of the major sporting events to look forward to this year.